Christmas or Santa Express train rides at Kiwanis Park were once again a tremendous success. The kickoff event was our annual tree lighting ceremony and caroling on Friday, December 5th. I'd like to thank all the residents and elected officials who braved the cold weather to once again take part in this very special Southgate Christmas tradition. These included Judge Elizabeth Mullins, Council President Zoe Cuspo, Council members Priscilla Ayers-Reese, and Adrian Price. I know the weather was extremely tough, so I'm sure some of them had a difficulty making it there. Adding to the ceremony were the angelic voices of Grateful Praise a cappella voice group from the Gateway Church on Northline in Southgate. Father Don Lacosta, pastor of the St. Pius Church, also added an appropriate blessing that reminded everyone of the true reason for this blessed season. Everyone joined together to welcome Santa Claus and present him with the key to our city so that he was able to visit all the good boys and girls this Christmas Eve. Special thanks to 7-year-old twin brothers Matthew and Logan Price for assisting with the tree lighting and key presentation. The name's familiar. That's the sons of our newest council member and his wife. It's great to see young people also being represented on this council as well, to have children. That's really wonderful. Adds another dimension to our council. This is the first time in my tenure that we've had children of an elected official, being able to participate in this way. So we really appreciate their participation. Nearly 1,500. We almost got it. I think it was 1,490 or something like that. Residents and visitors boarded the Santa's Christmas Express train ride to Southgate's North Point and visit with Santa. This brings our 15-year total to well over 26,000 riders. Special thanks to the Great Lake Live Steamer Club for providing the trains and helping to assemble the wide array of Christmas light displays that filled Kiwanis Park with joyful colors and Christmas images. I'd also like to thank all of the student volunteers from Davidson, National Junior Honor Society, Anderson High School, members of the Rotary Interact Club, and once again, my wife's for spending her birthday weekend in the park, Council President Zoe Cusper for spending hours welcoming Santa, and Southgate DDA, Southgate Parks and Recreation Department, and our DPS crew for assisting in preparing the park. I think it was, I don't think I mentioned that Councilwoman was also there as far as Priscilla Ayers-Reese. So it was dark, so I tried to nick somebody, but I do remember seeing you as well. So lastly, we could not put on this wonderful event without our generous sponsors. This year's event sponsors were Hennessy Engineers. Did you know that, John? Okay. We contacted somebody else. Yeah. MJR Theaters, Roma's Pizza, A&T Car Wash, Hair Lab Detroit Barber School, Southgate Figure Skating, Downriver Hockey Club, and the Southgate Little League. For anyone who missed the Santa train rides or wants to see more Christmas illuminations, Market Center Park will be aglow with thousands of twinkling lights and numerous holiday displays during our 6th annual Light Up the Park event. Weather permitting, this free event will take place through the end of the year. Each night, residents and visitors will have the opportunity to stroll through the park from 6 to 10 p.m. and enjoy the beautiful lights and take photos at the various Christmas displays. A special North Pole mailbox will also be placed under the pavilion for any letters to Santa Claus. Lastly, and perhaps the most important officials report will take place in a few moments. That is our 24-25 fiscal year municipal audit. I look forward to the presentation by our independent auditing firm, Plant Moran. I appreciate all the work that they have undertaken in auditing our records and commend the work of our finance department and the members of my staff who were part of this process. I believe that our residents, employees, and members of this council will once again be pleased with the report. Due to our collective actions, we will continue to make our city a great city of Southgate, as we continue to move it forward on a stable financial footing. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
No report.
Mr. Treasurer.
Oh, that was fast.
No report.
Councilman Price.
No report.
Councilman Roush.
My commission actually is not meeting this month, but I want to wish everyone a happy and safe holiday.
Councilman Graziani.
No report.
I want to congratulate the school district. They had their grand opening of their new robotics room yesterday evening in the old Garish building, which is now Asher. It was great to be invited to that event and see all of the students from elementary on up to high school participate and do their creations for the robots and everything. It was really cool to see. They've already won numerous awards throughout the years, and this room will only continue to that development and progress in that field for them. Councilman George.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I too would like to wish everybody a happy holidays as you all celebrate with family and friends and a very happy, healthy new year. The Case Commission is still accepting entries into the home decorating contest. And if you want to submit an entry, you can send your pictures to the Case Commission at case, C-A-S-E, at southgatemi.gov. And winners will be announced and presented their gift certificates at the January meeting. That's all, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Ayers-Reese.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Planning Commission did meet on Monday, December 8th. They set their schedule for 2026 planning meetings. Also, administrative report, Dan gracefully gave us a report on Southgate Tower project, which run into a few issues, could be delayed opening. So more to come on that. I'm sure Dan, as always, will keep us abreast of any new information. And then old business, NNC Designers and Contracting for 18701 North Line Road wants a special condition site plan review. Propose a new gas station, convenience store, and restaurant space. The developer did not come to the meeting on the 8th. Therefore, they postponed it to the next meeting, which should take place in January. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Hope you like my festivity. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Councilman Golick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd also like to wish everyone a happy holiday season. And thank you for the cards and the texts and the emails after my recent knee surgery. It's good to be back. The Downtown Development Authority did meet on Monday. A couple items of note to the council should be that they approved a motion to decline a 10-year extension from the current Market Center Park manager. And they're going to proceed with a competitive bid process for a new management agreement. With that, they also approved a motion to investigate the possibility of purchasing the concession area at Market Center Park. So look for updated details on that as soon as we meet again. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we will turn it over to Plant Moran for the audit presentation. Please, gentlemen, come on.
Okay, good evening, and thank you everyone for the opportunity to be here before you tonight. My name is Ramzi Abdullah. I'm an audit partner with Plant Moran. And with me tonight is Nate Shurup, audit manager, and Drew Kroll, Southgate's very own Drew Kroll, audit manager, also with Plant Moran. Bill Brickey, my colleague partner on the audit, unfortunately had another meeting tonight and couldn't be here. But Plant Moran has completed the City of Southgate's June 30, 2025 financial statement audit. Included in your council packet tonight are several deliverables that we're going to cover at a very high level. I'm happy to answer any questions as you're going through, as I'm going through them, or if you'd like to save all questions till the end, that is fine as well. I'm going to start with a couple of the documents in the packet before I hand it over to Nate to cover the slides. But before I do that, I do want to take a few moments to thank your team, Darcy Cheney, Doug Drysdale, Dan Marsh, and really your entire team for all of their assistance and cooperation during the audit. The audit is a months-long process. We have a team of auditors camped out here at City Hall for what feels like a very long time, combing through records, having audit requests, working with your staff, and the culmination of all that work is the issuance of an audit opinion. So from an audit perspective, so for this year we have issued an unmodified opinion, and this is found on pages 1 and 2 of the financial statements. That is the really large document in the packet. It's, I think, 80 pages. An unmodified opinion is the highest form of assurance that we can provide as auditors, and it means that in our opinion, the financial statements are free of material misstatement, and the financial statements are in compliance with all of the rules and regulations. In addition, during the current year, the city has received approximately $1.5 million in federal grants. and as such was required to obtain a federal compliance report. So we also performed that examination for the city. As part of that audit, we specifically tested the city's federal ARPA dollars, which were the remaining ARPA dollars were spent during the current fiscal year, and that was $823,000. Our work concluded that the city was in full compliance, and we had no findings, and we had no question costs related to this work. Moving on to our next audit deliverable. So this would be the report that's addressed to the mayor and city council, and this is the 8-page letter. This report has 3 sections, and I'll cover them all at a high level. The first section includes internal control matters that were identified as part of the audit. And in this section, we had 2 items to report to you, and I will note that both of these 2 items were the same items that we reported to you last year as well. The first notes that as part of our audit, we identified several journal entries that were required to be posted to close out the city's financial statements for the year ended June 30, 2025. So as part of the audit, we identified and proposed those necessary journal entries to management. Management reviewed and agreed with them and ultimately posted them. We are allowed to do this under the auditing standards. We're just required to communicate with you that as part of the audit process did identify and propose several journal entries. The audit entries that we proposed were year-end adjusting entries that were related to accruals, so they weren't related to your day-to-day activities. One of those items, for example, would have related to certain information that didn't come available to the city until several months after year-end. But it did not affect day-to-day transactions or things like cash. The second item in the internal control section of the letter relates to the fact that bank reconciliations were not fully prepared or were not prepared on a timely basis throughout the year. Now, some of this had to do with the fact that there was, I know, a turnover in the treasurer's office right at year end, which was like right when the audit was going on. So some of the bank reconciliations needed extra time to get prepared and finished. And to that end, we encourage the city to continue to review the review process for bank reconciliations and ensure that they're being prepared timely to ensure that any issues are timely identified. The second section of this letter includes required communications regarding the audit process. You may recall at the start of the audit, you received what was called a plan, scope, and timing of the audit letter from us. So this section of the letter closes the loop on that communication. If we did have any significant audit issues, if we did have any difficulties encountered performing the audit, if there were any other items that were significant enough to bring to your attention, this is where we would report those to you. If you read through that section of the letter, you'll see that the language pretty much indicates that we did not have any of those items. So in section 2 of the letter, really all good news to report there. And then lastly, in the third section of the letter, this section includes informational and legislative items that are not only unique or not necessarily unique to the city, but really statewide. This is kind of the latest and greatest from Lansing, so we invite you to read through that section. And if there is anything that you'd like us to speak on in that section of the letter, we would be happy to do that. I'm going to hand it over to Nate now, and he's going to cover some of the highlights of the general fund in this presentation that we've put together.
Good evening, everybody. As Ron mentioned, my name is Nate Shurub. I'm a manager from Plant Moran, worked on the audit this year, and I'm going to take you through our graph presentation. So this first slide here represents the general fund's revenue on a budgetary basis for the year ended June 30th, 2025. First thing I'd like to highlight here is that revenue for 2025 did increase by $2 million, which is approximately 6.6% over 2024, and came in at $33.3 million. So just a few highlights within here is that license and permit revenue were down approximately $600,000 in the current year. This was primarily driven by lower building permit revenue and lower apartment inspection revenue. Interest, rent, and other revenue remained relatively consistent. It did decrease about $78,000. And then there's a block up there for intergovernmental revenue, which includes $823,000 that the city recognized related to those ARPA grants in the current year. And it also includes $1.2 million of the Wayne County ARPA funds that the city received during the year for the Wayne County, for the tower project. And then as of 6/30/2025, there is no more remaining unearned ARPA revenue. So all of those funds that were received back in 2021 have been spent. And finally, property taxes and Act 345 levy saw a combined increase of approximately $1 million during 2025. So this next slide here breaks down the state equalized value and the taxable value for the city. And so there's just a few things that we wanted to go through here. First, that orange bar there represents, so as I said, that represents the state equalized value, which is $1.29 billion this year compared to 1.2 in 2024. And the blue bar represents the taxable value, which is $892 million this year. And that is really the part that the city can actually assess taxes on. So while state equalized value has been increasing at a very high rate the past few years, as you can see, the Headley in Proposal A limits the increases that the taxable value can increase to the lesser of 5% or inflation. So really, this slide is just a reminder that while property taxes remain the largest source of the city's revenue, and specifically for the general fund, the growth in this fund is limited year over year. Next, we have a couple pieces here on state shared revenue, which is another significant source of revenue for the general fund. And it comes from constitutional revenue sharing, statutory revenue sharing, and then EVIP or CVT dollars. And so this graph takes a look at the last 10 years and is broken up into the three categories, as I noted. So the constitutional piece is the only guaranteed piece of those three. And so the statutory revenue piece has actually been eliminated. It was eliminated over 15 years ago now, well over 15 years. So while the total revenue here is over $4 million for the city, when you compare that to 2003, which isn't shown on this graph, but we do have that information still, it was $3.6 million. So if you think about it, over 23 years, that state shared revenue has only increased about 5%, while expenditures have seen inflationary increases across the board over that time. So this is just something to keep in mind, that these are the two main sources of revenue between your state shared revenue and your property taxes. However, there is a lot that is out of the city's control when it comes to how much you actually collect in these dollars. Next, we have a breakdown of the general fund expenditures. And really here, there's two things I'd point out, is that the two major sources of expenditures for the city are the general government, which includes expenses associated with the 28th District Court, which was about $8.3 million for the year ended June 30th, 2025. And then public safety, which was approximately $16 million, or 51% of total expenditures for the general fund. I will go into a little more on that specifically on this next slide here. So this slide here really shows the breakdown of the different buckets that those expenditures come in. And what we wanted to highlight here is that the people cost, or the cost for retirees and active employees, make up about 71% of those expenditures in the current year. And approximately 10 million of that, or 10.7 million of that is for retiree expenses. All right, just a couple more slides here. So this is a comparison of revenue to expenditures over the last 5 years. And normally what you would want to see is these two lines really mirroring each other, right? So that blue line is your revenue and the red line is your expenditures. And as you can see, that means that in the current year you would have added to fund balance, which is really, what you would want to target for year over year. And we also have noted a couple things at the bottom of this slide, which is the total ARPA revenue that was recognized over the prior few years between 2022 and 2025. So in general, the general fund added $2.2 million to fund balance in 25. However, it is important to note that a lot of these increases went to restricted and committed fund balances for certain purposes. So 294,000 of the increase is restricted, and 290 is committed for fire rescue equipment and IT projects and software. So the net increase to unassigned fund balance was actually only 321,000. And then one other thing to highlight is there is an assignment this year of $660,000 that's new, and that is for the new recycle bins that the city is purchasing in 2026. Finally here, this shows the general obligations of the city, and this is only for the general government, so this doesn't include any debt related to water and sewer. However, what this does highlight is that over the past 15 years, the city hasn't added any new debt and has really financed a lot of the capital projects that have taken place out of existing revenue and, through the budgetary process. And there's, as of year end, there's only $650,000 left on that debt. So with that, we are happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions from council? Seeing none.
Through the chair.
Councilwoman Ayers Reese.
So on page 3, you said that the statutory was no longer,
Yes.
is there a reason why it's still on the graph?
So we could take it off, but we just show that it's not a source of revenue anymore, because when it was a source of revenue, it was fairly significant to the general fund.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
Madam Chair, just, and it's not saying that the state legislature could bring it back if they chose to.
Okay.
They've chosen not to over this period of time. And the real frustration we had back in 9-10 when it started to get eliminated was the fact that communities counted not only on the constitutional amount, but the statutory as well. So they tried to finesse some things and they renamed it as this EVIP money, and that's how it's coming, this other category is coming to play. But there's nothing stopping the state legislature from enhancing, shared revenue by reinstating some statutory law.
So that's like, maybe.
Yeah. But historically, it has been a category that has funded communities for decades.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
And no problem.
Any other questions from council? Seeing none, thank you so much for your hard work. Appreciate your.
I'm sorry, there's one other point I wanted to make, because I know Bill always points this out, and I'm sure he'd appreciate me pointing it out as well. The city did continue to pay the full required contribution towards the pension plan, both the municipal plan and the police and fire plan, and the city is also funding the OPEB plan. So the total, the pension and the retiree healthcare portion of the liability, the full payment was made this year, and that actually reduced the liability. It was $80 million last year. In total for the two, it's down to $75 million. So that brings the pension, the police and fire pension plan to 78% funded, and the municipal plan to 62% funded. Again, just wanted to point it out that those are big liabilities and they're big numbers, but the city is paying not only the required contribution, but in some cases excess contribution towards paying those down.
Thank you so much. Mr. Marsh, please, for the agenda.
Okay. Thank you. Good evening. A couple notes at the start. In front of you tonight is a supplement to the minutes. This is the work study rules and procedures. Those were approved at the last meeting. However, this form was not actually in the packet. So as the meeting minutes are approved, or requested, these would be added as a supplement.
To the work study meeting.
This is
Okay, the
the
first one, yeah.
work study rules and procedures to be added as a supplement to the meeting minutes approval from last meeting.
Okay.
Secondly, you received a communication regarding an emergency sewer repair. We're asking that would be added to the agenda. You have the documentation for that printed out for you tonight as well. Were there any questions on either of those items? Okay, seeing none. The first item under Communications A is a resolution request to approve the audit report and for restating the fund balances. Are there any questions from council? Okay, seeing none. Next is a request for approval of the corrective action plan for the municipal employee retirement system. The Michigan Department of Treasury, they annually review pension systems and their funding, and they require a corrective action plan if a system falls below 60% funded. In a review of the fiscal year 2023-2024 system, it was determined that the city's MERS plan did fall below that threshold, primarily due to market conditions. You have the attached corrective action plan, and it outlines some steps that have already been in place that help the long-term health of the system. And as Rumsey had just stated, as of yesterday, the plan is funded at 62%, and as you can see in the corrective action plan, it is projected to continue to increase in the future years. Are there any questions from council regarding that item? Okay, seeing none, the next item is a request for authorization to provide support to the school district's construction trades education program. As you are aware, the district and the city are still in a legal dispute regarding the authority the city has to exercise our zoning ordinance on homes that they plan to build and then sell to the public. That being said, the program itself is commendable, and so the mayor and I visited a well-established program in the Ann Arbor area, which has existed for 50 years, and they've completed over 50 homes. They concurred with the city's position that local ordinances are always followed, but they also gave us some insight on how, as a city, we can best support the students who are involved in those programs. So based on that meeting, we've provided for you tonight 3 recommendations. The first would be to refund building permits for fees, or building permit fees for plans that are approved. Second would be to provide a second inspector. This second inspector would be for educational purposes. So as the students are learning that process of a building project, of meeting with an inspector and seeing what needs to be evaluated, they would have that opportunity as well. And the third would be to provide an expedited review process. Are there any questions from council regarding this item? Okay, next is a request to approve the city planners, Carlisle Wortman, to perform capital improvement plan consulting services. The proposed plan would be good for 6 years, and it would offer a framework that we could periodically update moving forward. Completing this plan will also achieve a required best practice step for becoming a redevelopment-ready community through the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. And again, that redevelopment-ready communities, that serves as a sort of economic development accreditation program. And that's something that we've been working on now for a little over a year. Are there any questions from council regarding that item? Okay, next is a request to approve outside legal services for potential PFAS litigation in which the city may be entitled to settlement funds. The proposed firms are recommended by our city attorney, and they're being used in other communities for the same reason. There's no financial burden to the city, and the city would only pay the firms if a settlement is reached. Are there any questions from council regarding that item?
Madam Chair.
Councilman Goller.
Mr. Marsh, could you just explain what PFAS is and how that affects the local communities?
It's unclear, yes, it's unclear exactly what the effect has been. PFAS is like microplastics, I think is one way that's been put, and there's been some companies that have been identified as manufacturing or distributing these products, and that may have had impacts on the water system. We have not been notified that there's any issues with our water system. However, we were identified as a community that would be potentially eligible to join into the suit, along with some other ones in the downriver area.
Thank you.
Next is an item regarding door repairs at the ice arena. The administration is recommending waiving the bid and hiring the manufacturer to perform the repairs. If council does approve this tonight, those repairs would be made by the first week in January, by the end of the first week in January. Any questions from council on that one? Okay, the next 9 items are the mayor's appointments to various boards and committees, and those specific names and those terms will be read aloud during the meeting. Then going under Communications B, we have 3 items to be received and filed. The first is a duty disability separation agreement with Lieutenant Nathan Mashinsky. The next is the appointment of Mark Hatfield and Gordon Midlars to the Police and Fire Retirement Board for a term expiring December 2027. And lastly is for Greg Haas to be appointed to the Public Safety Commission for a term expiring December 2026. Are there any questions on the items under receive and file? Okay, thank you.
Did you, Mr. Marsh,
Oh, and
did
the-
we talk about the emergency?
The emergency sewer, yeah, thank you. Yeah, so yesterday, there was a private repair being done at a home who on the sewer line. The private contractor identified that the city's line had collapsed over a section due to tree roots. Our staff went out there, evaluated it. They confirmed that, yes, this is a collapse due to tree roots. And so we're asking that Quint Plumbing, which is the city's contractor for plumbing, be authorized to go make the repairs.
And that would be added under communications,
And that would be under, yeah, added under communications.
Thank you so much. You did it. We'll reconvene in 1 minute.
Do Federal Express commercials.
Micro machine.
It's gonna be the guy at the end of the commercials.
Okay, here we go. It's now 7 o'clock. The December 17th regular meeting will begin. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Roush.
Here.
Councilman Price.
Here.
Councilman Graziani.
Present.
Councilman George.
Here,
Councilman Golick.
Here.
Councilman Ayers Reese.
Present.
Councilman Cuspa.
Here. I'll entertain a motion to amend the agenda under Communications A to add the emergency sewer repair.
Madam Chair,
Councilman Ayers Reese.
I make a motion that we add
agenda,
to the agenda, the plumbing,
The
sewer
emergency
repair.
sewer repair.
support,
Motion by Ayers Reese, supported by George. Any discussion or objection? Agenda is amended. I'll entertain a motion to approve the work study meeting minutes dated December 3rd, 2025.
Madam Chair.
Councilman George.
I move to approve the work study meeting minutes dated December 3rd, 2025.
Support.
Motion by George, supported by Ayers Reese. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to approve the regular city council meeting minutes dated December 3rd, 2025 with the supplemental document.
Madam Chairman,
Councilman Roush.
I make a motion we approve the regular city council meeting dated November 3rd, 2025.
Support.
With
With the-
the,
With the, right.
Oh, yes, with the added item. Sorry.
with the supplemental
The
document.
I'm sorry, the supplemental, I just put it away too.
All right.
The supplemental, procedures for the work study rules.
Okay, so we had a motion by Roush, supported by Price. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. No scheduled person in the audience, no consideration of bids, no scheduled hearings. First item under Communications A is a memo from the Finance Director regarding the resolution for accepting and approving fiscal year 24-25 audit report. Madam Clerk.
Under separate cover, you have previously received the draft fiscal year 2024-25 audit report from Plant and Moran. The matter will also have been reviewed during your work study session. As in previous years, the city has received an unmodified opinion from Plant Moran, which indicates that the financial statements present fairly in the material respects the respective financial position of the city. Therefore, it is recommended that the City Council adopt a resolution which accepts and approves the audit report for fiscal year 24-25. Also due to Gadsby 54, the City Council is requested to restate the fund balance as follows. General fund non-spendable prepaids, $574,570. Restricted unspent property tax rubbish, $1,137,668. Unspent property tax, police and fire pension, $574,570. Low-income housing, $9,163. Building department, $402,696. Committed. County property tax chargebacks, $300,000. Computer software acquisition, $50,000. Fire rescue equipment, $1,250,000. SINC, $136,000. General fund assigned, workers' compensation, $600,000. Severance reserve, $1,700,000. Future working capital, $500,000. Future OPEB, $500,000. Future budget shortfalls due to deficiencies in court revenue, $500,000. Capital projects, $500,000. Capital project funds committed, police cars, $200,000. Property acquisition, $95,897. Fire rescue equipment, $250,000. Assigned capital projects, $100,000. Your favorable consideration of this matter is therefore requested.
What's the pleasure of the council?
Madam Chair,
Councilman Golick.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the resolution accepting and approving the audit report from Plant Moran for fiscal year 2024, 2025, and restating the fund balance as indicated above.
support,
Motion by Golick, supported by George. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. Next is a memo from the Finance Director regarding the approved corrective action plan for MERS. Madam Clerk.
The city of Southgate was notified that a corrective action plan was required for the MERS Southgate Employees Municipal Employees Retirement System due to the funding status at June 30th, 2024, fallen below the 60% threshold required under Public Act 202 of 2017. Administration has prepared the attached Michigan Department of Treasurer's Form 5598, which details the changes that have occurred over the past number of years. In addition, the most recent actuarial valuation report prepared by Gabriel Roeder Smith and Company is included, which shows that the system anticipates attaining the 60% funding threshold by fiscal year 2026-27. This corrective plan requires the local governing body to approve the plan and submit the plan to the Municipal Stability Board for review and approval.
What's the pleasure of the council?
Madam Chairman,
Councilman Roush?
I make a motion to approve the corrective action plan requested for the mayor's Southgate Municipal Employees Retirement System and authorize the finance director to submit the corrective action plan to the Michigan Department of Treasury.
Support.
Motion by Roush, support by Price. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. Next is a member from the administrator regarding the support for public school CTE program. Madam Clerk?
As the council is aware, the Southgate Public School District has plans for a construction trades program where students will build homes that the district will sell to the public. The administration recently had the opportunity to visit a similar program in the Ann Arbor area in an effort to learn more about how the program runs and how the city can best support its success. Based on that visit, the administration is recommending council approve the following optional forms of support to the school district's Ford Line condominium project located between Ford Line and Helen next to Ford Line Elementary School. 1, refund building permit fees for approved plans. 2, provide one additional inspection walkthrough at no additional cost for educational purposes. And 3, provide an expedited permit review process.
What's the pleasure of the council?
Madam Chair,
Councilman George?
I move to propose the administration's request to optionally refund building permit fees for approved plans associated with the Southgate Public Schools construction, trades education, Ford Line whole building program, provide one additional inspection at no additional cost for educational purposes, and to provide an expedited permit review process.
Motion by George, support by Roush. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion
Madam
carries.
Chair, before you
Mr.
go
Mayor.
on, I just want to appreciate council's concurrence with this. There's, along the way, I know there's an issue that we obviously have that may potentially be litigated, but the fact that the city is in support of this project has always been, all the commissions that they went in front of were in support of it. It became a material issue more than supporting the program. And I think after visiting this other district that has been doing it for a long time, we saw some real potential to show that the city is not, these are real tangible things that we can do for this project to show our support, and it's obviously a support for the students. We do support the program. This is one way we feel is the best way, but also there is still that other pending issue, but regardless, we think this is a great effort to show that the city is in support of these students and this program. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on. Next is a memo from the administrator regarding the consulting services for capital improvement plan. Madam Clerk?
The administration is recommending the city's planning consultant, Carlisle Wortman, to provide capital improvement plan consulting services. Included in your packet is a detailed scope of work and estimated timeline for the completion of the plan. The proposed CIP is for 6 years. Once completed, the city will have a framework to make periodic updates moving forward. The proposed plan also will meet one of the remaining requirements specified by MEDC to become a certified redevelopment-ready community. Redevelopment-ready communities is an initiative that assists and recognizes communities for establishing best practices for planning, zoning, and economic development. Adequate funds are available in the general fund.
What's the pleasure of the council?
Madam Chairman,
Councilman Roush?
I make a motion to approve the city's planning consultant Carlisle Wortman and Associated Incorporated to provide capital improvement plan services in accordance with the attached proposal for not to exceed the amount of $11,000.
Support.
Motion by Roush, support by Golick. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. Next is memo from administrator regarding the contract for legal services per PFAS litigation. Madam Clerk?
The administration has reviewed the recommendation from the city attorney, Edward Zelnak, regarding potential PFAS litigation. The law firms of Stagg, Luzin, LLC, and Shoemaker, Loop, and Kendrick, LLP, have undertaken litigation on behalf of individual communities to seek recovery for costs associated with damages to the public drinking water system and/or public water system against companies that manufactured, marketed, distributed, and/or sold aqueous forming foam. The proposed law firms are currently representing other cities downriver in this matter. There is no charge or cost to the city to enter this litigation. Therefore, the administration recommends approving the attached contract for legal services for AFFF PFAS litigation.
What's the pleasure of the council?
Madam Chair,
Councilman Gollak?
I'll make a motion to approve the attached contract for legal services, AFF PFAS litigation with Stagg Louisa LLC and Shoemaker, Loop, and Kendrick LLP, and to authorize the city administrator to sign said agreement on behalf of the city.
Support.
Motion by Gollak, supported by George. Any discussion? Was that you?
No,
Okay, I thought you said, any discussion? Any objection? Motion
Madam
carries.
Chair,
Mr. Mayor?
I just want to further clarify, I know in the work study that Councilman Golick asked the question in regards to explaining PFAS, and Administrator Marsh indicated that we don't show any issues as it relates to our drinking water, but this is also tied to the sewer system. And I know that the DUA system has experienced substantial issues with PFAS, and we certainly want to take advantage of any way in which we can help remediate the removal of PFAS before it goes into the river. But it's again sewer, in our case, it's sewer related as opposed to fresh water.
Thank you. Next is a memo from the administrator regarding the ice arena entrance sliding glass door repairs. Madam Clerk?
The administration has reviewed the above and concurs with the Recreation Director's recommendation to waive the bid and hire Allegion, the parent company to Stanley Access Technologies, to repair the sliding glass entrance door at Arena A, not to exceed the amount of $6,651.30. The doors are nearing 10 years old and require a new motor, gearbox, and sensor to be operable. The administration recommends waiving the bid because Stanley Access Technologies is a door manufacturer and Allegion can complete the repairs in a timely manner. There are sufficient funds in the Parks and Recreation millage for this purchase.
What's the pleasure of the council?
Madam Chairman,
Councilman Roush?
I make a motion to waive the bid and hire Allegion from Wixom, Michigan, the parent company of Stanley Access Technologies, who is the manufacturer, to perform door repairs to the sliding glass doors at Arena A and to not exceed the amount of $6,651.30.
Support.
Motion by Roush, supported by Ayers Reese. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. Next is a letter from the mayor regarding the appointment to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Madam Clerk?
Please be advised that the following appointments to the Board of Zoning Appeals for a term expiring December 2028, Pat Poyer and Ray Krupczynski. Your concurrence on these appointments would be greatly appreciated.
What's the pleasure of the council?
Madam Chair,
Councilman George?
I move that we concur with the mayor's appointment of Pat Poirier and Ray Krupczynski to the Board of Zoning Appeals for a term expiring December 2028.
Support.
Motion by George, supported by Rouse. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. Next is a letter from the mayor regarding the appointment to Building and Mechanical Board of Appeals. Madam Clerk?
Please be advised that I have made the following appointments to the Building and Mechanical Board of Appeals for a term expiring December 2030. Mike Quint and Bob Hines. Your concurrence on these appointments is greatly appreciated.
It's a pleasure of the council.
Madam Chairman,
Councilman Roush?
I make a motion we concur with the mayor and his appointments to the Building and Mechanical Board of Appeals of Mike Quint and Bob Hines with a term expiring December 2030.
Support.
Motion by Roush, supported by George. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. Next is letter from the mayor regarding the appointment to the Building Authority. Madam Clerk?
Please be advised that I have made the following appointment to the Building Authority for a term expiring December 2031. Bob Hines. Your concurrence on this appointment would be greatly appreciated.
What's the pleasure of the council?
Madam Chair,
Councilman George?
I move to approve the mayor's appointment to the Building Authority, Bob Hines, for a term expiring December 2031.
Support.
Motion by George, supported by Roush. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. Next is a letter from the mayor regarding the appointment to Compensation Commission. Madam Clerk?
Please be advised that I have made the following appointments to the Compensation Commission for a term expiring December 2032. Aaron Bertera and Brian Clark. Your concurrence on these appointments would be greatly appreciated.
What's the pleasure of the council?
Madam Chairman,
Councilman Roush?
I make a motion we concur with the mayor with his appointments to the Compensation Commission for Aaron Batera and Brian Clark for a term expiring December 2032.
Support.
Motion by Roush, supported by George. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. Next, letter from the mayor regarding the appointment to Dangerous Buildings Hearing Board. Madam Clerk.
Please be advised that I have made the following appointment to the Dangerous Buildings Hearing Board for a term expiring December 2028. Bob Hines. Your concurrence on this appointment would be greatly appreciated.
What's the pleasure of the council?
Madam Chair,
Councilman George.
I move that we approve the mayor's appointment to the Dangerous Building Hearing Board for a term expiring 2028, Mr. Bob Hines.
Support.
Motion by George, supported by Gulick. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. Next, letter from the mayor regarding appointment to Downtown Development Authority. Madam Clerk.
Please be advised that I have made the following appointment to the Downtown Development Authority for a term expiring December 2029. Mark Tremper. Your concurrence on this appointment would be greatly appreciated.
What's the pleasure of the council?
Madam Chair,
Councilman Gulick.
I'll make a motion that we concur with the mayor's appointment of Mark Tremper to the Downtown Development Authority, term expiring December 2029.
Support.
Motion by Gulick, supported by George. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. Next, letter from the mayor regarding the appointment to Municipal Employee Civil Service Commission. Madam Clerk.
Please be advised that I have made the following appointment to the Municipal Employees Civil Service Commission for a term expiring December 2029. Sam Galanis. Your concurrence on this appointment would be greatly appreciated.
What's the pleasure of the council?
Madam Chairman,
Councilwoman Mayor Reese. Councilman Mayor Reese.
You okay? I make a motion that we concur with the mayor's appointment to the Municipal Employee Civil Service Commission expiring December 2029. Sam Galanis.
Support.
Motion by Ayers Reese, supported by George. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. Next, letter from the mayor regarding appointment to Police and Fire Civil Service. Madam Clerk.
Please be advised that I have made the following appointment to the Police and Fire Civil Service for a term expiring December 2031. Chris Poyer. Your concurrence on this appointment would be greatly appreciated.
What's the pleasure of the council?
Madam Chair,
Councilman George.
I move that we concur with the mayor's appointment to the Police and Fire Civil Service Commission for a term expiring December 2031. Chris Poirier.
support.
Motion by George, supported by Roush. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. Next is a letter from the mayor regarding the appointment to Tax Increment Finance Authority. Madam Clerk.
Please be advised that I have made the following appointment to the Tax Increment Finance Authority for a term expiring December 2029. Peter Heggie. Your concurrence on this appointment would be greatly appreciated.
What's the pleasure of the council?
Madam Chairman,
Councilman Roush.
I make a motion, we concur with the mayor with his appointment to the Tax Increment Finance Authority, term ending December 2029, Peter Hagee.
Support.
Motion by Roush, supported by Ayers Reese. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion
Madam
carries.
Chair.
Councilman
I
George.
would just like to thank all these wonderful, willing people who are willing to serve the city. It takes a lot to make the city run, and these are the many that do it. We get the credit for it, but they do the hard work. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Last is something we added to the agenda with the amendment earlier. It's a letter from the administrator regarding the emergency sewer repair. Madam Clerk.
I have reviewed the above item with the DPS director and concur with his recommendation to waive the city bid process and approve the proposal from Quint Plumbing for the emergency repair of a collapsed city sewer line at 19278 Orchard in the amount not to exceed $18,000. Quint Plumbing is the city's approved plumbing contractor. Funds are available in the water and sewer fund budget for this repair.
What's the pleasure of the council?
Madam Chairman,
Councilman Roush.
I make a motion, we waive the city bid process and approve the proposal from Quint Plumbing for the emergency repair of a collapsed city sewer line at 19278 Orchard in the amount not to exceed $18,000.
Support.
Motion by Roush, supported by Golick. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. 3 items on our communications be to receive and file. I entertain a motion to receive and file.
Madam Chair,
Councilman Ayers Reese.
I make a motion we receive and file.
Support.
Motion by Ayers Reese, supported by George. Receive and file. There are no ordinances. Is there any old business the council would like to discuss? Seeing none, is there any new business the council would like to discuss?
Madam Chair.
Councilman Golick.
I just wanted to give a heads up and a shout out to the DPS department for all the hard work. The early winter has caused multiple water main breaks, and just encourage the residents to be patient as they get those fixed. Mr. Marsh was explaining that several of the locations were fixed, they flushed it and it failed again. Or the neighboring property failed again. So understand that our infrastructure is 70 to 80 years old in some locations, and we're gonna have multiple, efforts to get the water and the sewer back on for everybody. Thank you.
Any other new business? Seeing none, move on to unscheduled person in the audience. If you'd like to address council, come to the podium, state your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes. Seeing none, we'll move on to claims and accounts. Councilman Roush.
Move to approve warrant 1535 in the amount of $11,905,155.73.
Support.
Motion by Roush, supported by George. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Madam Chair,
Councilman Ayers Reese.
make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Motion by Ayers Reese, supported by George. Any discussion or objection? Or adjourned. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Everyone.